Books on Tape presents Sarah, Book 1 of the Canaan Trilogy, by Marek Halter. Read by Bernadette Dunne. Prologue. Twice, during the night, my chest stopped filling with air. Twice it was empty and as dry as a leather goatskin. Although my mouth was wide open to the dawn wind, I could not drink it in. I lifted my shaking hands in the darkness. Pain ran through my bones, greedy as vermin. And then it stopped. Twice the air returned to my lips, flowing over my tongue as cool and sweet as milk. It's a sign. I know how to recognize the signs. After so many years, so many trials and tribulations, Yahweh, the invisible God, is going to separate Sarah from Abraham. Tonight, tomorrow night, very soon. He will take my life. That's the way things are, that's the way they must come to pass. There's no point protesting, no point being afraid. Yahweh will mark out my route away from this land that still bears my steps. An old woman's steps, so light the grass hardly bends beneath my weight. That's the way things are. That's the way they're meant to be. The next time the air refuses to come into my mouth, I won't be so scared. This morning, as dawn was spreading over the meadows and dusty cliffs around Hebron, I left the mother's tent, but instead of going to wait outside Abraham's tent with bread and fruit, as I've done thousands of times since he became my husband, I came here, to the hill of Kiryat Arba, and sat down on a stone at the mouth of the cave of Machpelah. It took me a while to climb the hill, but I don't care how hard it is. If Yahweh decides to take my breath from me in broad daylight, this is where I want my body to collapse. Here, in this garden, in front of this cave. This place fills me with peace and joy. A white cliff surrounds the mouth of the cave like a well-constructed wall. From beneath the shade of a huge poplar, a spring runs down into a vast semicircular garden. Its slope, like a palm open in greeting, descends toward the plain, marked with long, low walls built by the shepherds, planted with thick trees, and fragrant with sage and rosemary. From here I can see our tents drawn close around Abraham's black and white tent. There are too many to count. Hundreds, I suppose. The sheep stretch as far as the eye can see, their wool brilliant white against the grass, which is greener than the water of a pool. It's the end of spring. The rains were mild and came at the right time. I can also see the smoke rising vertically from the fires, which is a sign that the east wind, heavy with sand and dryness, will spare us again today. Even from up here I can hear horns, dogs barking as they gather the sheep, occasionally the cries of children. My hearing is no weaker than my sight. Sarah's body still holds out. Youth knows nothing of time. Old age knows nothing but time. When you're young, you play hide-and-seek with the shade. When you're old, you seek out the warmth of the sun. But the shade is always there, while the sun is fleeting. It rises, crosses the sky, and disappears, and we wait impatiently for its return. These days, I love time as much as I love Isaac, the son I waited so long to see. For a long time the cycle of seasons left no trace on me. One day followed another, and my body showed no sign of them. That lasted many years. My name wasn't yet Sarah, but Sarai. They said I was the most beautiful of women. My beauty was a beauty that inspired as much fear as desire. A beauty that seduced Abram as soon as he set eyes on me. A beauty that never faded, troubling and doomed, like a flower that would never bear fruit. Not a day went by that I didn't curse this beauty that wouldn't leave me. Until Yahweh at last wiped out the terrible act that was the cause of everything, a sin I committed as an innocent child for love for the man who was then called Abram. A sin, or a word I wasn't able to hear, for we knew so little then. The sun is high now. Through the fine needles of the cedars and the dancing leaves of the great poplar, it warms my old body. I'm so thin now I could wrap myself in my long hair which has never turned white. Such a little body, but one that harbors so many memories, so many images, scents, caresses, faces, emotions, and words, that I could populate the whole land of Canaan with them. I love this place. Here the memories gush from me like a waterfall cascading into a river. The cool air from inside the cave brushes my neck and my cheek with the tenderness of a familiar whisper. At moments, it seems to me it's my own breath, the breath that Yahweh withheld from me last night. In truth, this place is a nail in the pillar of time, like the pottery nails used to mark the presence of the souls in the splendid walls of my city, Ur. 2 nights ago I received another sign from Yahweh. I had a dream with my eyes wide open. I was still breathing peacefully, but my body was stiff and cold. In the darkness of the tent, without even the moonlight filtering through the canvas, I suddenly heard the banging of metal tools on stone and the voices of men at work. I wondered what kind of work they could be doing in the middle of the night so close to the mother's tent. I wanted to get up and look. But before I could lift myself up on my elbow, I saw, with my eyes, what only the spirit of dreams can make us see. It was no longer night, but day. The sun shone down on the white cliff and the mouth of the cave of Machpelah. That was where men had been working since the first light of dawn, building walls. Thick, solid walls, a beautiful facade complete with door and windows, a house of stone as splendid as any palace in Ur, Eridu, or Nippur. A dwelling I recognized immediately. They were building our tomb. The tomb of Abraham and his wife, Sarah. I shall be the first to take my place in it. My beloved Abraham will lay my body there so that at last I can attain the peace of the other world. My dream faded. The blows of hammer on stone ceased. I opened my eyes. The tent was dark. Rachel and Lesha were sleeping beside me, breathing peacefully. But the meaning of the dream remained with me. All of us to whom Abraham's invisible God revealed himself, this now numerous people to whom he offered his covenant for all eternity, we know only cities of tents, cities of desert and wind and wandering. Yet I, Sarah, was born in a house with 30 rooms, in a city that contained 100 similar houses, its most beautiful temple as high as the hill of Kiryat Arba, its outer walls thicker than an ox. In my whole life, following Abraham into the mountains where the Euphrates rises, walking beside him in search of the land of Canaan, or even as far as Egypt, I have never seen a city as splendid as the Ur I knew as a child, and I have never forgotten it. nor have I.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?